Hi Leo, welcome to my channel. My name is Ken. Today, Leo, you guys got gratitude with the pink rose, a 36 making a 9. I feel like this is reminding me of that card, like thanks for the spiritual lesson in this deck. The hidden truth. There's like a card and it's like thank you for the spiritual lesson. That's what I'm getting with gratitude. I feel like someone here is just happy about a lesson that they got. Like they're not necessarily, in the stages of stages of, I don't know what it's called, but it's like when you go through these stages where you're like, first you're really pissed and then you're like sad, and then I think like gratitude is at the end, right? Especially with this 9. So I think it's an important thing because someone is feeling thankful, right? Like they're not mad anymore, they're not depressed anymore, they're grateful. So this is someone coming to the end of it. So I feel like this Leo, whoever I'm talking about, they're at the end of a lesson. Like they're at the very end, because I feel like the beginning is anger, depression, and all the shit, but at the end of it, it's like gratitude. So whoever this Leo is gracious for the spiritual lesson. Like I feel like they're telling the divine thank you, like now I won't make the same mistake twice, or now I learned something like of value, right? So yeah, the spiritual lesson can be anything, right? Whatever this person is happy though for, I think it's a really beautiful energy because when we're in the anger, depression stage, it feels like it's never going to end, right? It feels like that's how it's going to be for a while. And I feel like this person has just come out of that. So it's a beautiful energy to come out of, especially with the spring, right? So this is really beautiful, Leo. And you guys needed this because your readings have been really heavy. So let's pull some cards. So Leo, I feel like for everyone, the timeline might be different. You might still be in that like anger, depression state, right? But for a lot of you, I feel like you're already here at the gratitude, right? Where you're just thankful because now you see why things happened the way that they happened, right? There's a reason why it didn't work out like that because I needed to do this, this, and that, right? Like you can start to see, right, why things happen the way they do. And what I'm getting with this is like there has been a loss of a soulmate, right? Like there, again, this is like those stages, right? Where you lose someone, right? With the 2 of Cups in reverse and the Mother in reverse. I feel like this is a masculine energy who lost a feminine, this Empress, and they're just like, their heart, it hurt. Their heart turned off. Their heart, they weren't able to like accept that. But I feel like with time, they were able to see why it happened the way it did, right? So I feel like this might be the stage of anger, right? Where they like don't understand it, but then they're able to kind of break through and the energy helps them. And this had to do with someone's ego, with the Hero in reverse. This lesson, like this person, these stages are very helpful. Well, not helpful, but they're very like important because they're going to help with your ego and like helping you again to become one with your ego instead of it being something that owns you, right? So maybe in the past your ego, used to tell you things and used to, listen to it, and instead of it being something that you listened to but you didn't like follow, you were like a slave to it. And now I feel like you're not. You listen to your intuition, but you're not necessarily listening to fear, right? Your ego is fed by fear. So back in the day, fear used to be like a big problem for you. And fear is what led you to, a lot of pain in your life and anxiety. And now I feel like, again, they're trying to tell you like a reason for this happening to you was so that you could fall apart, so that this was the main thing that I feel like they wanted you to lose, this ego, right? And that's what it's all about, right? Incorporating the ego into our life. That's why the dark night of the soul is such an important part of the spiritual journey, right? You can't get anywhere if you can't look at yourself with like glasses and like see right through yourself, right? Like what is it that makes me tick? Why is my ego getting flared up because of this, right? Like why do I feel like shit when I'm around that person? Why does that person make me feel inferior, right? Like these are all questions that we have to ask ourselves because we all have an ego, we all have fear, we all have anxiety, and it gets triggered, right? Like it just does, like we're human beings. But if we can learn to work with it and not let it be the thing that like we're working for, right? So that's what I feel like happened here, Leo. And you're going through it, but if you're here already, like you just separated yourself from someone, like you just had that separation, then I feel like you're at this stage of the journey, right? But just understand that it's all happening for a reason. With the intuition, like it happened for a reason. And now I'm getting that it's kind of meant to put you on your ass, right? Again, that's what I'm getting with this week's read. It's like a lot of energy to put you on your ass to make you feel uncomfortable, right? Like these spiritual journeys and like the lessons that we learn are not the only way to really learn a lesson. I feel like is not being comfortable, it's being uncomfortable, right? And I feel like with the mental conflict and the Nine of Swords, you really suffered, right? So again, I feel like the first step was anger. The second step is like depression. But now I see you already coming out of that. So just know that there is like an end to this energy, right? And I feel like with the ego and the intuition card centered in the middle of these cards, it's because this masculine had to learn to work with the ego, to let go of fear. That fear is like what causes the anxiety. Fear is what causes the confusion. Fear is what causes the mental conflict. All this has to do, I feel like, with fear. Like fear, right? Ego is like synonymous to fear. So yeah, that's what I'm getting. But this ends, and then look what happens for you, Leo. Like these cards at the end are so beautiful. So you have an ending, right? You have the Ten of Swords, and I don't think that, like, again, this is more of a portal, right? This is more of like a way of going, right? Like you're entering a new phase in your life. Remember, I was getting a lot with the springtime with this flower. It's like the winter time is ended, and maybe the winter was spent in mental confusion, in conflict, in anxiety, in depression and anger. But I feel like the spring can be a really different time for you because you're going to be given a chance for this new beginning. Now, what I want to say about this new beginning is that it's going to be different because you have to let go of the idea that you're supposed to know what's going to happen next, right? That's fear, right? Like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen next, so I'm not going to go. No, you have to go, right? Like you don't have any idea what's behind this door. But I do have a good feeling about it because we have the Ace of Wands, we have the Emperor, and we have the Heaven and Earth. So they're trying to tell you like to go down this path, right? This path is going to lead you to something different, something new, but something really beautiful, a brand new beginning for you. And yeah, there are a lot of secrets here, meaning like you're not going to know exactly what the hell is going on, but I feel like it's just to let go. Like let go of control, let go, again, it's this ego, it's this fear, like let go of it. Everyone's fearful, like nobody knows what's gonna happen tomorrow, but you have to take that step. And they're telling you, I feel like, that you will like regain all those parts of you that you lost with the anger and the depression, but it's gonna be a lot better for you. Like it's like you're rebuilding yourself, but of a more sustainable or like a more solid substance, right? And again, like now you're armored, right? Like now you're ready. Now you're ready for whatever's going to come your way. I feel like there could be a collaboration, right? Maybe you had to step away from someone to get to this Heaven and Earth. For everyone's going to be different. Like I feel like some people are going towards someone and some people are leaving someone behind, or maybe it's both. But I definitely feel like with this Heaven and Earth, the only way to get there is to take this step forward and to not be scared, you know? And I feel like the last thing that they want to tell you guys is that, again, the only one who got the only way that you got this far was because of you. Like all the work that you've done. This is all the energies like I feel like you've had to go through. The Ten of Swords, the Nine of Wands, where things like you were deceived and that's what I'm saying. I feel like you were deceived a lot in the old cycle, right? A lot of people were able to easily play you and manipulate you because you weren't really cognizant of the fact that they were playing off your fear, right? So it's like, it's kind of like sometimes when I see a shadow, like from the corner of my eye, I see something move, but it's not necessarily real, right? It's just like, again, the darkness can like bring out these like weird illusions, but it's none of it is really real, right? It's kind of like, you know, when you get spooked out in a creaky house and you're like, oh, there's a ghost here, but it's really just like the floorboards are creaky, right? It's an illusion. And that's what I got that song about today. It's just an illusion. And that's what I'm getting with this. It's like, a lot of people played off your fear and it wasn't necessarily right of them, but that's what happens because you have to, again, integrate the shadow so that fear doesn't rule your life, right? So that's what I'm getting with this Ten of Swords and the Nine of Wands. Like a lot of people betrayed you because they played off your fear, but that can't happen in the next cycle. And you can be really confident in that as soon as you take this next step in the new direction that you're going, that no one's going to play off of your fear. Maybe you played yourself a lot of the time too, right? Like maybe you played yourself a lot of this time. We have 2 4s here. So yeah, I think again, it's like no one can play you, but also you can't play yourself, right? Because sometimes fear makes us do stupid things, right? It's not like only people betraying us or using us or like taking advantage of us, but it's like our own selves putting ourselves in these bad situations because of fear. It's like trusting the devil, right? It's like, yeah, like I'll help you with that fear. Like, don't worry about it. You want like that $100, just come this way. And then like you put yourself in a trap, right? Like that's not something that's going to happen in the next cycle, because I feel like you've learned this lesson. So this is a really big time. And I just feel like, again, at the end of this is gratitude. So if you're at the end, like congratulations. Let's post some advice, Leo. So this is really weird. We have Nightingale Spirit, love is all around. Number 5. I feel like this transition, right, like walking through the door could be a challenge to you guys, because again, you have to remember that love is on the other side of that door. Like getting through the threshold is going to bring you to even more love. But you can't be afraid, right? You can't be afraid of change. You can't be afraid of things moving forward. You can't be afraid of things that you don't know, right? So it's like if you want to ask somebody a question but you don't know the response, you'd rather just not ask the question than like actually just see what the response is, right? It's like when you're afraid to raise your hand in school, you'll never know the answer. Like I used to always be afraid to raise my hand because I was like, well, what if this is a dumb question? How are you going to learn anything if you don't ask the question? Do you know what I'm saying? Terrible, terrible thing. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Fear is like an enemy, right? To us. We have to live like fearlessly. And with love is all around, they want you to remember that like at the other end of the threshold is love, and the whole reason for the whole journey is love too, right? Like the beginning and end is all about love. Like they're just trying to bring you to a higher state of consciousness so that you will do better next time, right? They don't want people playing you, and like they don't want you to play yourself, right? It's like it's all to help you. And now what's weird is that Cancer got Yemoja and Inanna. And Cancer's read also had Leo in it. So this is like the second week in a row where Cancer and Leo's reads are like together. And it's just freaking weird. But yeah, with Yemoja, the goddess of all that flows, I am an ocean of creative energy. I give birth to what exists within me. I feel like this is, you will have like a renewal of that heart energy. We have a lot of green and we have a lot of water. So I'm again, the lesson was the ego with Inanna, the queen of heaven and earth. I have nothing to hide. I see and accept all that I am. This is like to love yourself no matter what, right? Like to love yourself even though you make these mistakes, to love yourself even though sometimes you mess up, right? And to love yourself even through the hard times, right? And I think again, it's again, you working through ego. It's like loving your ego, right? Like I get scared of the dark, but I have to love love myself for who I am, right? I'm not anybody else. I just am who I am. And with the Yemoja, the goddess of all that flows, I feel like there is going to be like this renewal to your life right now. And again, it's like determinant of you. Like, are you ready to go to that part? Are you ready for it? Like it's already here for you, this beginning. Like, are you ready for it? Even though it's an unknown beginning, and even though you don't know what's on the other side of that door, I definitely feel like it's going to be much better than the past, right? Especially because you've learned all of these lessons. So yeah, Leo, I really love this read. I just feel really happy for you guys. You guys are doing, all the work that you're doing is not in vain, and you are coming up to a new cycle. So congratulations. And I feel like that's what you guys got last week too, like an ending of a cycle. So again, I feel like they're just telling you like, are you ready? Like now it's like time to crush to pass the threshold, right? Like, are you ready? So yeah, Leo, I love you guys. I hope that this helps, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.